Good evening, everybody. Welcome to another episode of Sunday Night Live with me, Jonny Lipsham, here at jonnylipshamstudios.co.uk on this final Sunday of January. So we have reached the end of the first month of 2023, folks. It is going by at breakneck speed, in my opinion. So I hope everybody is doing well and has had a good week. I've been kind of under the weather a wee bit the last few days. I've had, still have, actually, a bit of an ear infection. So I'm not feeling particularly great, but you know what? I'm here for you guys. That's what I do. That's what I live for. I live to serve you guys. So I hope everybody is otherwise doing well. We've got quite a few people in here already, which is cool. Sean Aaron was first in the door, very, very early. In fact, he was like nearly a whole day early. Followed by my good friend Rich Cresswell, aka My Personas, and Billy Morgan, and Mike Johnson, my dear friend, is here as well. Alps Media, my awesome sponsor, is here. Lorenz is here as well. Kyle Traduziak, Ronald Figuera is also here. Paul Morgan, I've already said Kyle is here. Donna Knight is here. Hello, Donna. How are you doing? I hope you're well. And who else do we have? We've got Bobby Booth as well. And that is everybody that has said something in the chat. So if you are here and you are wanting to say hello in the chat, then please do. I will always name check people who come into the chat. So please do that, and that would be awesome. And also, if you find that you are unable to post in the chat, it may be, in fact, it's very likely that the reason being is that you're not yet subscribed to the channel. So please do go over there, I think it is, and hit that subscribe button. Hit the notification bell next to it and select all notifications. That way you will not miss a thing that I put out in 2023. 2023 is going to be a big year content-wise, so there's a lot of stuff coming. So, and I don't want you to miss out on anything that I put out on this channel. So that includes Sunday Night Live. It also includes Songwriting Simplified that will be on Wednesdays at the same time as this show, so 6 p.m. Central. I will be hosting that on my own going forward, having hosted it with Jonny for about 4 or 5 years. So he is taking a sabbatical, so for the foreseeable future, I'll be hosting that show on my own. But my intention is that I'm going to include an array of guests who will join me on Songwriting Simplified. So I have a few people that I'm going to line up for that. And we'll be talking about various aspects of songwriting and composing and arranging. And we'll be talking a little bit music theory. And basically just to continue to give you guys tools to develop your craft in songwriting so that you can make the best songs that you possibly can. So that is the intention of that show. So there's going to be some guests, there's going to be different subjects, different topics. We'll go into some depth on a few things that we weren't able to go into with just me and Jonny hosting the show. So that should be very, very cool. I'm really, really excited about the future of Songwriting Simplified. So if you are a songwriter, if you are a composer, if you are an arranger, or if you are just wanting to get into expanding your music theory knowledge and understanding and application, then Songwriting Simplified on Wednesdays is the show for you guys. So please do come along and ask your questions in the chat, just like you would do for Sunday Night Live. But Wednesdays will be the place for all of your songwriting, composing, arranging, and music theory specific questions and everything to do with that. So if you are up for that, then please do come along and get your questions in the chat then. Or if you think of something between now and Wednesday, then drop me an email. Go down to the website address at the bottom of the screen down there, jonnylipshamstudios.co.uk, and at the bottom of the page there is a contact form. You can fill out that contact form and you can ask any questions you like to do with composing, arranging, songwriting, music theory, or Studio One and how to use Studio One as a songwriting tool, because we're going to be going through all of that as well. We're going to take a good look in depth at what is available in Studio One as stock, whether you are using the Prime version, the artist version, or the professional version, so you can get the best out of using Studio One as a composing, arranging, and songwriting tool. So Wednesdays are going to be flipping awesome, to be honest. So we've got 2 live streams every week going forward, and also an array of other stuff that's coming as well, which I'm very excited about. So as my good friend Rich says, there's the link to my website. Go contact me there. And if you've got ideas for a subject or a focus for either Wednesday or a Sunday show, then again, drop me an email and we can certainly do that. I would like to build a list of things that we can focus on for 2023. So if you've got something that is a burning issue for you, and I'm not talking medical issues, if you've got a burning Studio One issue that you would like to find out more about, then those are perfect for shows like this one on Sunday nights. And as I said, any composing, arranging, and music theory, and all of that kind of stuff for Wednesday nights. So if you've got ideas and things that you'd like to see, then get those emailed to me as well, and we will do those shows. We will focus on those things. I will do research where I need to. So don't be afraid to ask a question thinking that, you know, maybe I'm not going to know the answer. That's okay. If I don't know the answer, I'm going to go and find it out. And then present it to you on a show. I will do my due diligence. I will do my research, because that is the kind of guy that I am. Kyle, that's funny. Cool. All right, so there we go. We got all the housekeeping stuff out the way. So if you have, speaking of questions, if you have questions about said subjects, get them in the chat. Let's get the show on the road. Let's get started. One of the things I do have for you guys, and I think I've had this for a while, and I've been meaning to do a review actually on these particular third-party products. And I should just say, for full disclosure, UJAM have no affiliation with me. I have no affiliation with them. They have not paid me to do anything like this. But I think personally, they make some fantastic products that will help you make music, and make music quickly, easily, and have a lot of fun doing it. And they've built some really unique tools for doing that. And we're going to look at just 2 of them. One of which, if you get a piece of PreSonus hardware, so for example, the AudioBox Go or something like that, one of the things that comes with that is one of the products is the bass product, which I believe is called Rowdy, VD Rowdy. Not VD, because that'd be virtual drummer. That'd be VB Rowdy, virtual bassist Rowdy, which I don't have as yet, because I don't have a piece of qualifying PreSonus hardware, because that was kind of a new addition to the third-party product list that we have called the Studio Magic Bundle. But what we used to do was with UJAM was we used to do VD Fat, which is the virtual drummer Fat, and also the VG Sparkle, which is a guitar product. And I thought it'd be quite fun to take a few minutes to take a look at Fat and Sparkle as well. And you'll get to see just how useful they are for making a decent drum track and a decent guitar track if you are no good at programming either. And particularly guitars are quite tricky to program from scratch, just, you know, using something like one of the Presence guitars. Presence guitars are good, they're fine, but you know, to get them to do some of the things that you would want, like strumming patterns and things like that, they are not really that usable for that. And that's not because they're not good. It's just that doing strumming patterns manually is very tricky. Although with the new strumming feature in the note editor, it's a little bit easier now than it used to be. You can basically input a chord, and you can there's a dragging feature that you can use in the note editor to make a chord strum, and you can do that. And if you want to make a guitar part that way, a rhythm guitar part that way, you certainly can do it. It is a little more tedious to do it, but with some patience and dedication of time to it, you can come up with a really good rhythm guitar track. I have no doubt about that whatsoever. You can do it. But these two products I think are really, really cool for getting songwriting ideas down. So, you know, this kind of covers something that we would cover on a Wednesday as well. But UJam are pretty cool. They're a good company, and these are very well worth looking at. All right, so let's get over to Studio One. All right, so I have a drum track that I have already done in VDFat, and I'll show you kind of how you do that. This is what it looks like. So you have the drum set mapped out here. You've got different kits here, and then over here you've got different kind of mix presets. So you got close, you got broad, bright, punch, rattle, pump. Pump involves quite a bit more compression. And then you've got your master output here, and then you've got your overall mixer here, so you can balance different things out, which is very, very cool. And then you've got different types down here. You can tune the instruments. And then you've got like individual and master output. So these are very, very useful. And then you've got overheads, and then you've got room mics as well. And you can have reverb and a bit of saturation and a maximizer. And then you've got some presets for the master output here as well. And you can turn it up if you need to. There. So this is very, very cool. And I need to be on the right channel. Hang on. There we go. Turn that up just a little bit at my end. So it's a nice sounding drum kit with good quality samples, which is really, really cool. But then you've got some predetermined patterns that are on this side over here. So you've got intros, you've got fills, endings, you've got some breakdowns, and you've got some special patterns as well. And you've got section patterns for verses and patterns for choruses as well. Now, the cool thing is you see these little kind of domino-like icons that are on the top here. What this means is you can drag and drop these patterns directly into Studio One. So as you can see here, unfortunately, this GUI is not expandable, which is, or, you know, you oh, there you go. That makes it a little bit easier. I didn't see that. Why have I never, ever seen that? Why have I never ever seen that? That's really annoying. So, for example, what I've got here is I got this pattern, which is one of the patterns I dragged in here. But let's say I want to go to this pattern after that. So what I can do is I can click on this and I can just drag and drop that right there. And then let's just expand this out a little bit. All right, so, and yes, Kyle, it does sound a little bit like the drum part for Superstitious. I'll give you that. All right, so let's take a quick look at Sparkle. Sparkle has a similar GUI. Now, I don't know whether this is expandable because the other one was, but I'm not seeing any way that you can expand or not, as the case may be. So with this, you've got different styles here, and then key and then chord changes here. And you've got a latch feature. You've got a feel feature. Basically, you can either be on top of the beat, you can be pushing or pulling, and you can balance between the two, which is pretty cool. And then you've got these presets up here as well. So you've got some factory presets, which are great. So you got common phrases on this side, and then you got style phrases, and then you've got chords here. So, and then you've got some settings here. You got some grit you can add in. You can do drop D. You can double. And then on the guitar, you've got the different pickup settings, and then different amp settings, and you can add some chorus. You can add some delay, some reverb. You can add some drive, and you can control the master volume here. And this is basically a rhythm guitar instrument, which is very, very handy. So if I was to, yeah, let's click on this one here. And then if I manually just form a chord like this. Oh, I'm on the wrong instrument again. So if I go down there, and then go, now the thing with this is, because this pattern is actually tied to the tempo, you have to make sure that when you play the chord exactly on the downbeat. Otherwise, it will be out of time. But it does sync to the tempo of your song. So let's get this drum loop going. 1, 2, 3. See what I mean? You go slightly out. All right, so let's say I like that. Well, I can record this in, and I can turn the loop off. I can record this in, and then what I can do is I can quantize each of those downbeats so that they are right on the beat, and then this guitar part will sound great. So let's try that. Let me set my metronome up first. Make sure I've got my pre-count in. There we go. Let's get that switched on. 2, 3. right, so let's go in and we'll just edit these. And what we'll do is we'll set the quantized value to quarters. And we'll go and select all. And we'll hit Q. All right, then we can loop that. So I can just, fairly quickly just add a bass part to that, which I'll just do just for fun. And then we'll just double that. So we'll set the quantized value here to 16s. Control A and Q. And yes, it does make things a little bit robotic, but that's okay. That's okay for what we're doing here. Now I'll just duplicate that. And then put the loop back on and we're done. And pretty quickly you've got the start of a song. Just by using a strumming pattern from Sparkle, a groove out of Fat, and then a composed bass part, and there you are, done. and it's actually pretty easy. Now, there are some limitations that I should mention. And one of those limitations, particularly with the Sparkle, is there are no real kind of extensions to chords. So there's no kind of jazz harmony involved with that particular product. I would like there to see at least ninths and 13ths added to dominant chords for particularly the more funk orientated patterns that there are. That would be pretty cool. Now, obviously not applicable to all styles. There are country strumming patterns, there are folk patterns, there are waltz patterns, there's 6/8 patterns, there's Americana patterns. There's loads and loads of strumming patterns for different styles of music, and there are some chords therefore that won't be appropriate. But you know, if you want to do something that's a little bit more disco or funk orientated, then being able to add extensions like 6s and 9s and 13ths would be really beneficial. But unfortunately, those aren't available. VD Fat is very, very cool. It has some preset drum fills that you can use as well. You can drag and drop those in, so you can compose pretty much a basic drum track pretty easily. You can do things like ghosted notes, but they're not easy to do. You would have to those are parts where you'd have to manually compose those by playing them in yourself. But other than that, it's actually pretty good, and the quality of the samples from Sparkle and Fat are actually very, very good. It would be nice if there was more available for amps for Sparkle, but there again, in Studio One we've got Ampire, and there are other third-party products that you could use for amp sims as well that you could run this through and make it sound really, really good. Now, one of the things I did do there was I used the doubling effect on here so that I could basically have one guitar on either side playing the same pattern, and it actually sounds pretty good with the doubling on. So yeah, definitely worth doing, and you can apply a little bit of chorus if you want, you know, and I've got a little bit of reverb. I can roll off some of the drive if I don't want it, or I can go for a clean sound. Let's see what that's like actually. There you go. So yeah, I hope you like this little whistle stop tour of these two UJAM products. There are a bunch of things, like there is actually, Bobby Booth is talking about an upright bass. There is actually an upright bass product that you can get that's got similar kind of patterns to it that you might find useful, particularly if you're wanting to do swing music, jazz, walking bass lines, stuff like that. That's available in their acoustic bass, upright bass product, which is very, very good. I've had a little listen to some of the demos and thinking actually of just purchasing the upright bass, because I think it'd be really useful for me personally. But yeah, it's very, very cool. Check those out. All right, so if you guys have got any Studio One questions and that kind of thing, get them into the chat, and we've got about 30 minutes left of the show, so let's get to your questions. And I'm going to kind of catch up with the chat and see what the story is, what you guys are talking about. Let's see. Yeah, we don't actually have any questions, which is going to make this a very short show. But Kingston Dread is here over in the Caribbean, and Guy LaBelle is here as well, who I didn't mention. And of course, my good friend Keith over at Radio Tuck Frumpet, or Tuck Fumpret. I haven't quite got the whole last part bit down yet. I'm sure I'm going to get it wrong repeatedly, but he is here as well. And Waveform Laboratory is here as well. Studio One causes burning. If it needs a caution hot stove, well, I have no idea what he's talking about. But anyway, whatever. Whatever. I'm not quite sure what you're talking about there, Bill, but you know, it is what it is. So anyway, let's go see what we got here. Dwayne is here. He's a little late, but that's okay. Dwayne had a show last night. I hope your show went well. From the photographs that I saw that you posted on Facebook, it looked like it was a load of fun. So that's awesome. Who else is here that I have missed? John Hawk is here. He says he's half an hour late, but that's okay. I will let you go without needing to give you a tardy. Like you might have got when you're at school. Just Bobby is here as well. He says, just stopping in to hit the like button. Had Sparkle a couple of versions ago. Lost it in transfer from my old computer. Can I still read down? Yes, you can. If you have it in... I had exactly the same. Because I got this about 40... excuse me. I got this originally about 4 or 5 years ago. When it was first launched. Because, you know, they were doing some kind of promotion. And I managed to get it for free originally. About, as I say, 4 or 5 years ago. And... if it's still in your UJAM account, you can just download it again and authorize it on your computer. It's fine. I don't see from the user account interface whether they have any limitations on how many computers you can authorize it on, because there's no kind of activation count that I could see. But yeah, if you're not sure about that, that'd be a question well worth asking UJAM support about. Excuse me. But yeah, if you've already got it and it's in your UJAM account, you can just download and install it. I did that just this afternoon, by the way. So you guys are asking about cost of this, so I'm going to go and find out. One second. Let me go find my UJAM link. Closed. Here it is. Oh, hang on. What's going on here? UJAM. Oh, let's see. All right, so here is the UJAM website. And they've got all sorts of stuff here. They've got like stuff for beat making, symphonic elements, GrooveMate, Finisher, virtual drummer, virtual bassist, virtual guitarist, USynth, virtual pianist, and then there's some featured and bundled items here as well. So here's some of the featured ones. So there's Drive, which is a Powerhouse House Essentials. This one is free. Then you got the Virtual Pianist Vibe, which is like a whole bunch of electric piano patterns and samples and things. £125. Not sure what that is in US. And then you can get the bundle, which includes Vogue and Vibe, which is like the acoustic and electric pianos. You can get that for $172. Which is very, very good. Then you got these beatmaker items here, which are quite good as well. Symphonic elements, so you got strings, drums, and brass, which are worth checking out. And then you've got some percussion for, which is only £16, so that's only like 15 bucks. And then you got some other things here. And then here are the virtual drummers. So you got Solid, which is like a standard session drummer. So this is actually pretty good. This is £83. So this is under £100, which is probably under $100, more or less. Soulful drums. So if you're into kind of heavier music, then Brute and Heavy 2 are going to be your thing. And then this is what I was using. This is Fat 2, which is kind of funk and that kind of thing. Then you've got an odd meter pack, which you can download, which I think will basically just work with any of these other products. And then you got drums on the radio, which is very cool. And then here are the bassist ones. And this is the Mellow, which is the upright bass that I was talking about. And you can get a free trial of any of these and see if you like them. Then there's like this standard session bassist, bit of slap bass. So if you're into kind of slap bass and Mark King and level 42, then that's going to be good. Rowdy, this is what you get with the Studio Magic bundle at the moment. Subject to change because they swap out different items because you could get fat, but they've discontinued that for the Studio Magic. And then here's the guitarist. So you've got Silk, which is kind of an acoustic guitar, which is very, very nice apparently. And then you've got these other ones for rock and that kind of thing. And then this one here is what we've just been using, Sparkle 2, £131.85. You can change the currency here. So let's go and put this in US dollars if I can figure out how to do that. There we go, US dollars. So let's go back down. So there's Fat 2, under $100. There's those bases, $129. And then Sparkle is $150, pretty much, $149. And then you got some synth ones here as well, which are pretty cool. And there's the virtual pianos. And then you got a bunch of bundles here. Or you can just get the whole thing, basically everything. The full bundle, the entire collection of UJAM products for just under $2,000. Which, if you've got that kind of money, then go get it. You can get all the drums, you can get all the basses, all the guitars, whichever takes your fancy. Yeah, so that's those, and they are very, very cool. As you saw. All right, so let's go back over to here. See what other questions we got. Let's see. What's the cost of the products? So there we go. We just looked at the UJAM products to see what they cost. How big is Notion without the add-ons? So for Notion, what you get with Notion is you get bundled sounds for the basic orchestra. So you get a strings bundle, a woodwinds bundle, a percussion bundle. Basically, each section of the orchestra you get, plus a choir as well, which is basically the London Symphony Choir and Orchestra. Recorded at Abbey Road Studios, which is, where the Beatles recorded quite a lot and where the Star Wars film scores were recorded. So yeah, so you get basically the London Symphony Orchestra, London Symphony Choir, all for free with Notion. You don't have to get the expansion packs. However, the expansion packs do give you some extra things, like some jazz instruments like jazz saxophones, jazz trumpets, jazz trombones, and those kind of things. So if you're wanting to do big band stuff, you will need those. If you're wanting to do a horn section thing for, something that's a little bit more funky, then yes, you will want those expansion sounds for that. But there's also some other cool instruments like bass clarinets and double bassoons and a Wagner tuba if you need that for doing sort of Wagner style music. If you're into that kind of thing for orchestral work, then yes, the expansion packs are going to be very, very useful to you. But the question was, how big is Notion? Well, we can go and look at that. Let me just bear with me 1 second. And I will go and open the product page for Notion. Software, Notion. All right, so here's the product page for Notion. This is on presonus.com/product/Notion. And you'll see that it's had some awards, including KVR Reader's Choice Award, two Tech Awards from 2018 and 2020. Although those were nominations. We didn't actually win those, unfortunately. But yes, we won the KVR Reader's Choice Award. So here's some stuff about what you get. You get London Symphony Orchestra. You also get guitar samples performed by Neil Zaza, bass samples by Victor Wooten, and drum samples by Roy Wooten. All recorded either in Abbey Road or in Nashville. You also get the Olympus Micro Choir from Sound Iron, and you get the Lakeside Pipe Organ as well, and a harpsichord, which is very, very cool. Let's see what the tech specs are, because this is going to be important for you. So you need 8 gigabytes of free hard drive space, and that is just for the bundled sounds that are included with Notion, okay? If you want the expansion sounds, you're going to need a little bit more hard drive space, and at least 1 gig of RAM. Most people have more than that nowadays. But you'll also notice for Mac that Notion is 10.13 High Sierra or later, 64-bit only. It is Apple M1 supported, but only in Rosetta 2 mode. All right, so it doesn't run natively on the M1 chip. It runs in the Intel Rosetta simulator. Windows 10 and Core i3 or higher, or 1 gig of RAM. Now, if you are a Presonus member, you have access to not only Notion and the bundled sounds, but also all of the expansion sounds as well. So you can just download everything if you want to. Notion is very, very cool. I can guarantee that it is very, very cool. And it's lots of fun if you are either wanting to explore notation. As you can see there on this screenshot here, there's a palette at the bottom with all the note values and different playing techniques and everything else that you can put into the score. Key signatures, time signatures, whatever you need, you can do in there. I will be doing some more Notion stuff for the Songwriting Simplified show. I'll be doing some demonstrations for Notion there. And if you guys are actually really quite interested in Notion, if there's enough interest in Notion, then I will make some standalone videos for Notion 6 and also Notion Mobile, which is very cool. Notion Mobile is kind of the newest kind of incarnation of Notion, and it is cross-platform. So you can have it on the Mac, you can have it on the PC, you can have it on an iPad, you can have it on an iPhone, you can have it on an Amazon Fire device, you can have it on a Chromebook, you can have it on I think I've covered them all. I think there's like 5 platforms. And you can download and install it for free on all of those platforms. And you basically sign into it using your My Presonus account credentials, and that'll give you some additional sounds and a couple of other extra things for free, just because we're nice and we like doing nice things for our customers. But if you are a Presonus Sphere member, then you unlock the entire feature pack for Notion Mobile, including the fantastic feature to be able to transmit from one platform to another. Providing you are signed into Presonus Sphere on each one of those platforms, you're good to go. So if you're working on a score on your iPad Pro and you want to send it to your Mac, you can just transmit and it will instantly open on your Mac or on your PC or on whatever device that you have activated with Presonus Sphere. It's very cool. Enough of the sales pitch for Notion. There we go. Dwayne says, thanks for the shout out. Yeah, it was lots of fun. Cool. I'm glad. Ronald Figueroa says, can you show how to use the fader port in MIDI mode? No, I can't, unfortunately, because I don't have a camera that is pointing down at the fader port to be able to show it, unfortunately. And yeah, there wouldn't really be anything particularly that I can demonstrate in that regard. Jonny Gibe has a video series on the fader port that covers pretty much it's very, very, very in-depth, and covers pretty much every mode that there is on the fader port. So I recommend going and checking out his video series, which I am pretty sure he has recovered from his old channel that got taken down. And if he has not, then I'm pretty sure that he would have no trouble making a couple of videos on the fader port, because he has so much knowledge on the fader port. John Hawk says, I can deal with 8 gigs. Can you do guitar charts? Yes, you can. You can put rhythm slashes and things like that in a guitar chart, and chord changes. You can do that. You can also do tab. Perfectly fine. It's dead easy. Donna says, can you talk a little about rotor and different organ sounds? Yes, we can do that very quickly in Studio One. So let's go back over to Studio One, and let's go and grab another presence, and we will go to organ, and we'll open this up, and we'll go with, let's go with this one, the Jimmy Vintage. Now, when you open up any of the organs, this is the Hammond organ here, you've got these particular drawbar settings. Now, I know they don't look like drawbars, but this is kind of the presence kind of version of drawbars. So you've got percussion on, and you've got short, long, the 5 1/3 stop open, and you've got the 8 open, but this one isn't. Sounds are kind of a little bit asinine on its own, but that's okay. One of the things we can do is we can add just a splash of chorus to it. Or, if we don't want that, we can add the rotor to this. So let's go and grab the rotor. Where are you, lovely rotor? Begins with R for rotor. So let's go and get that on there. And then you've got a whole bunch of settings here for rotor. So let's just start with this one. And this gives you a little bit of drive, and a little bit of drive on the horn cue as well. And then you've got different speeds for the horn, and then different speeds for the woofer. So this is the horn at the top, and this is the woofer at the bottom. And then you've got a speed selector, and it's modeled after a real Leslie cabinet. And I mean, it's because it says state space modeled here, but I know that this particular cabinet that they modeled in the lab at Hamburg. So let's. Now you'll notice it's a little bit clipping, and that's fine. We can just turn the global volume down a wee bit, and that should avoid some of that. So you can do that, and you can change this to a different setting. which is a bit dirtier. There you go. Little bit of Hammond organ and the rotor, which is very, very cool. And you can adjust the different speeds of the horn or the woofer. And if you think this drive is too much, just drop it down. It's cool. And I think these are mic positions here. As I say, you can have slow, you can have fast. There you go. Rotor with organs. And there's a whole bunch of organ presets in Presence to check out as well. So I hope that was helpful, Donna. Any other questions? Because we've got like 2 minutes left of the show. Because if not, we'll go back to our little loop here. And we'll maybe stick some Hammond organ on top. All right, there we go, folks. I hope you found tonight's show useful and helpful. And if you have, please hit the like button. If you're not already subscribed, please hit the subscribe button. Hit the notification bell and select all notifications as well. That would help me out tremendously. It would also help you because that way you get notifications delivered straight to your notifications, wherever those appear. And you'll get notified about videos and the live streams as well. so that you don't forget. All right, folks, have yourselves a fantastic week, and I'll see you on Wednesday for the first Songwriting Simplified being officially hosted on this channel, and that should be a lot of fun. And as I said, going forward, we're going to have a range of co-hosts and guests who will join in on the fun, talking about various different aspects of songwriting and stuff like that. Should be a lot of fun. But otherwise, folks, I will see you all on Wednesday. A very good night, everybody. Good night.